that clearance from all required agencies, EACC, KRA, DCI, HELP, ORP, and CRB, with no adverse reports. Her record is clean, and she stands fit to fly Kenya's flag abroad. She presented a vision to deepen Kenya-Namibia relations by pursuing bilateral labor relations to protect Kenya's migrant workers in Namibia's growing sector, such as mining, hospitality, and education. She has previously served as the Cabinet Secretary for Labor, and she stands an expert on that matter. Number two is Ambassador Anthony Mwaniki Muchiri, nominee for Ambassador in Turkey, Ankara. Ambassador Muchiri appeared before the committee in compliance with Article 78(1) and 2 of the Constitution. He confirmed that he is a Kenyan citizen and does not hold dual citizenship. He is a current chairperson of the Public Service Commission and president of the Association of African Public Service Commission. He previously served as Kenya's ambassador to Cuba and Libya, deputy chief of mission in Egypt, and in senior position at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. His record includes overseeing the establishment of Kenya's mission in Havana, coordinating evacuations of Kenyans during the Libyan crisis, and strengthening Kenya's presence in Latin America and Caribbean. On integrity matters, as I mentioned earlier, and certainly has been charged before, but he was released on lack of evidence, and so therefore he still stands in good chance to represent Kenya. The nominee presented a vision to expand Kenya-Tokyo relations through enhanced defense and security cooperations, particularly in training, technology transfer, and peacekeeping. On economic diplomacy, he pledged to address Kenya's trade deficit with Turkey by promoting export, such as tea, coffee, leather, and textiles. The committee therefore recommends his appointment as ambassador to Ankara, Turkey. Another nominee is Mr. Abdirashid Salat Abdille, nominee for ambassador to Jakarta, Indonesia. The nominee confirmed that he is a Kenyan citizen, does not hold dual citizenship, therefore meeting the requirements of Article 78 of the Constitution on eligibility of state officer and Chapter 6 on leadership and integrity. The nominee holds a Bachelor of Arts in Public Administration and Political Science from the University of Nairobi, a Diploma in International Studies, and a Diploma in International Labor Standards from ILO in Turin. He previously served as Inspector in the Ministry of Labor from 1987 to 2002, Technical Advisor to Somalia's Ministry of Labor, and Chairman of KPA Joint Industrial Council from 2009 to 2020. He has participated in numerous ILO and AU labor conferences. On integrity, the committee considered his record under Article 75 and Article 771 and 2 of the Constitution and found him that no conflict of interest whatsoever. He presented a vision to enhance Kenya-Indonesia ties through conclusion of labor migration and agreements. This nominee has previously served in the Ministry of Labor and therefore has a clean record on matters dealing with labor migration and labor issues. The committee, having reviewed his credentials, recommends his appointment as ambassador to Jakarta and in Indonesia. Honorable Speaker, in conclusion, and I'm sure the members will agree that the report is detailed for each of the members, and I didn't want to belabor on each specific individual. However, in conclusion, by recommending the approval of these nominees, we are persuaded that they possess the requisite academic credentials, professional competence, integrity, and leadership vision to serve Kenya's envoys abroad. They stand ready to carry that mantle with dignity and purpose. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move and urge this House to adopt the committee's report. I now respectfully invite Honorable Martha Wangare to second this motion. I thank you.
Member for Gilgil.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second this report. And Mr. Speaker, from the start, I would not want to repeat what the mover has said, but allow me to give exactly what we were looking at in this approval hearing. Mr. Speaker, we were looking not just at the qualifications, we were looking at the integrity and their background. We were also evaluating the fitness for that role. And on this, Mr. Speaker, you remember we have in this parliament actually denied a posting to a nominee to the DRC because we felt they are not fit They did not understand their role, and they were not going to add value in terms of our trajectory as a country, to stamp our sovereignty, and to also stamp our regional integration, intra and outside this continent, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this list from the president was, as has been highlighted by the mover, had 9 nominees. Mr. Speaker, it has been my personal view and that of many other members of the committee that even as we get nominees, we must also consider career diplomats for these opportunities, because there are those people who work in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, work many years and never get to actually go to the ultimate representing their country in missions, Mr. Speaker. I would want to thank the President on this list specifically because he has actually taken cognizance of that. And out of these 9 nominees, 5 are actually serving career diplomats, one being the Ambassador Anthony Mwaniki, who is the current chair of the Public Service Board. We have the Ambassador Lucy Njeri Kiruthu, MBS. We have Ambassador Joseph Masila. We have Ambassador Edwin Afande, MBS, and Madam Jane Jepkorir, who are a part of this list. Mr. Speaker, the President has also taken the issue of gender role very seriously. And in this list, out of 9, 4 are women. That is Florence Bore, Honorable Florence Bore, Lucy, Ambassador Lucy, Jane Jepkorir, and Judy Kearia. Her name was a bit difficult. Yes, Nkumiri. And also, Mr. Speaker, the mix in terms of getting career diplomats and others from outside will actually add to the richness of actually getting our people out there to be able to be representing our country in every way in definition of being a diplomat. Mr. Speaker, we were able to put them to task to ensure that they actually understand what it takes. They understood the foreign policy in terms of what are the issues that we will be advancing for this country. They understood where they stood in terms of labor migration and labor mobility, Mr. Speaker. You know, the President and this government has been very keen in terms of getting people to work outside this country, Mr. Speaker. But unless we have proper policies out there, then they continue having issues. I remember, I can quote specifically the nominee going to Saudi Arabia, being a very important destination for our workers out there. And there are issues that they raised that maybe as a house and as a ministry they should consider. Mr. Speaker, every time we hear there's a case in Saudi Arabia and they ask, what is the government doing? And the mission will say, we don't have money. If it is a case in court, what can we do? We don't have money to hire lawyers. And maybe it's time the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Speaker, considered having a resident legal attaches. The same way we have trade attaches, maybe it should be the same way we have a legal attaché in every mission, so that at least they are able to help our Kenyans in distress when they're having issues in the labor mobility space, when they're having issues even in criminal matters. And Mr. Speaker, sometimes we also feel that as a country we have let our Kenyans suffer too much, yet other countries take care of their own. So, Mr. Speaker, that was one of the issues that came out from that vetting, that maybe we should have legal attaches to be attached into the missions. The other issue, Mr. Speaker, I would talk about is the synergy to work with other ministries. Specifically, the Ministry of, the Department of Diaspora and also the Ministry of Labor. When we are talking labor export, there is always something the ministry is doing. This department is doing another thing. When you meet the Ministry of Labor, they are not talking with the diaspora. They are not talking with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So this synergy, Mr. Speaker, must be harnessed right from here, so that we have an all-government approach. Let everyone who is touching labor mobility be able to sit in one space and be able to to help our workers who are out there. Mr. Speaker, there was one nominee, and I would want to say something about her, called Judy Kearia Nkumiri. Mr. Speaker, this posting to DRC has been, I would say, what has been like a poison chalice, because it is seen to be jinxed from the start. Because even when this nomination was done, already DRC and Kinshasa had already started to reject before even this posting is done. So even as we post this nominee, Mr. Speaker, as a country, we must also sort out the relationship between ourselves and DRC. Otherwise, it will be an exercise in futility if we keep vetting and just sending people and they are not accepted in the countries they are going to work. Mr. Speaker, this lady came in. We were actually just, I would say we were giving her benefit of doubt, thinking she's just a teacher, she's come from Meru, and she came and actually surprised all of us in that hearing because she had done very good homework. Her interpersonal skills are very good. Her temperament is also very good, and she has been able to work in Uwezo Fund, and we felt that anyone who has even worked in Uwezo Fund, worked with NGAF, these are people that are able to deal with people because they deal at the grassroots level. So it was a surprise nomination, but I would say that she is actually equal to the task to be able to do and serve where she's been posted. We only hope that we can be able to sort this out because specifically Honorable Millie felt that she's been posted in a very harsh environment in DRC. But if we are able to sort out our relationship, then maybe we can say, we can give her an opportunity to prove herself. And I remember we were saying that most of the time we've posted men in DRC. Maybe it's time when it's a woman maybe to do the magic to ensure that we get these relationships going. Mr. Speaker, I know my vice chair has talked about all the other nominees. Ambassador Lucy Njeri Kirudu has worked in Washington, Geneva, Mexico, and London. She is very instrumental in the Kenya-US visa agreement that was there at the Kenya at 60, and we have no doubt that she'll do a good job. Honorable Speaker, Ambassador Mushiri has also served this country. He's a former ambassador to Cuba, to Libya, and we have no doubt either because we know that he will do a good job wherever he's going. Honorable Speaker, we have had even this nomination of Abdishirad Salat. This gentleman is a labor relations expert, has actually been at the table in terms of negotiating for Kenya, and we are hoping that he will use that experience to ensure that we have good conflict resolutions and international labor standards in every other mission so that we can talk about excellence. Mr. Speaker, Ambassador Masila has also served as a Director of Economic and Commercial Diplomacy and in the drafting of the Kenya Vision 2030 and session of paper number 1 of 2025. Mr. Speaker, these are very qualified nominees that came with this nomination, and we have no doubt that they will actually represent this country. They will help us to stamp our hegemony in the region. They will help us, even as we look at the Kenya's trajectory into becoming world class. And we hope that they can be able to work even with the sportsmen and sportswomen of this country. The one thing I heard from yesterday, Mr. Speaker, as we were giving accolades to our athletics team, is the gap between ourselves and the missions abroad. I think we can do better wherever they are. Like if we have competition in Japan, let us have our ambassador there being at the lead to ensure that our athletes are taken care of and our athletes are actually given the respect and support that they deserve. With that, Mr. Speaker, I beg to second.
Order, members on their feet, take the nearest seats. Honorable members, I now propose the question at order number 8, which is the taking into consideration the findings of the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence, and Foreign Relations in its report on the approval hearings of 9 nominees for appointment as High Commissioner, Ambassador, and Consuls General, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 23rd September 2025. Order. 2025, and pursuant to the provisions of Article 132(2)(e) of the Constitution, Section 22 of the Foreign Service Act Cap 185(e), and Sections 3 and 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act Cap 7F, this House approves the appointment of the following persons as 1 High Commissioner, Honorable Florence Chepngetich Bore, EGH, Windhoek, Namibia. 2 ambassadors and consuls general. Ambassador Anthony Mwaniki Mushiri, Ankara, Turkey. These days it's called Turkey, not Turkey. Ambassador Lucy Kirudhu, Bangkok, Thailand. Mr. Henry Wambuma, Bujumbura, Burundi. Mr. Abdulrashid Salat Abdile, Jakarta, Indonesia. Ambassador Joseph Musioka Masila, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Ambassador Edwin Afande, Vienna, Austria. Consuls General Jane Chepkorir Toroitich, Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Judy Kiaria Ngumiri, Goma, Democratic Republic of Congo. I see on the screen names of people who I don't even see here. Mary Mase, I don't see. Yes, Muge.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to support the committee report on the appointment of the various ambassadors to different countries. Honorable Speaker, I support the list and I want to take this opportunity to wish them well. Of course, hoping that this House will be able to pass the list as is. Honorable Speaker, ambassadors have been very important representatives of this country to the different countries. Honorable Speaker, they have a very important role, that they must be able to look out for the security and the welfare of the people of their country while they're in the nations that they are in. Honorable Speaker, it is their duty to make sure that the people who are working in the countries that they are representing Kenya in are comfortable and their welfare is well taken care of. Honorable Speaker, lately we have had a lot of issues, and in those countries we have ambassadors. Honorable Speaker, for the last 2 weeks we have had a lot of issues, especially in my county, with people who come from there and work in Qatar, for example. Honorable Speaker, I want to support what a honorable member has said, that we should also make sure that they have legal experts so that they can be able to help us sort out some of the issues. There is a body that had been detained in Qatar for more than 2 months, Honorable Speaker, and the issue could not be sorted out because of inefficiencies between the relationship here and the relationship there, which is actually squarely in the court of the ambassadors. Honorable Speaker, these people that are being nominated to represent this country, Honorable Speaker, should be able to take their job seriously, and we also want to ask them that they should go an extra mile. Most of the time, Honorable Speaker, we live here to other countries to go and do benchmarking, whereas people who have a better lived experience in the name of ambassadors cannot even come here sometimes and call meetings and say, hello, look, this is what I have seen, and this is what I like, and this is what we can domesticate here. Honorable Speaker, these ambassadors should be able to do their job, and I want to appreciate the committee because they did a good job. They made sure that each and every one of them was vetted, and they were able to actually look at their capabilities, and they have been brought to this House because they are good enough. And Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the committee. I think this committee has the hardest job of looking at the CVs, of looking at the competencies of people who do a very critical job in this country. So I appreciate the committee, and I want to wish the ambassadors the very best. And we want to thank also the President for also taking the shortest time possible to be able to submit those nominees, and the committee for taking the shortest time possible as well to be able to vet them. We want to wish them the very best, and they must remember that they are the flag bearers of this country. They are the image of this country, and therefore they have to do a good job so that this country and the people who live in the countries that they have been nominated to are having a better security and welfare while there. I support the motion, Honorable Speaker.
Mama Zamzam.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika, na mimi pia niweze kuwapongeza kamati andalizi ambayo imeweza kuwapiga msasa hawa walioteuliwa Mheshimiwa Spika kama maambasada ambao wa mabalozi ambao watahudumu katika mataifa tofauti tofauti. Mheshimiwa Spika, Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi nataka kwanza kuwapongeza hawa walioteuliwa, na niwaambie Kenya na picha sura ya Kenya iko kwenye mikono yao. Kule nje utakapokwenda waangalie kuwa wanaweka mahusiano mazuri baina ya Kenya na mataifa ambayo watahudumu, waangalie yale matunda ambayo yanaweza yakashuka katika taifa hili ili tuweze kupata matunda mazuri ya uhusiano baina yetu na mataifa ambayo wanahudumu. Mheshimiwa Spika, na niweze kusema pia Mheshimiwa Spika, na unawivu kama mama kutoka Pwani, kwa sababu nikiangalia katika hii list sioni watu kutoka kwetu, japokuwa hawa wanaweza kufanya kazi, lakini wakati ambao utafika wakati mwingine tuangalie sehemu kama hii Saudi Arabia. Mheshimiwa Spika, ni sehemu ambayo kwamba inataka mtu ambaye anajua culture, ile itikadi za wale kule anakokwenda, malezi yao na ile mazingira yao vizuri, na ajue kuwa kuna matatizo mengi sana kule Saudi Arabia ambayo kwamba yamekuwa yakija Kenya, na licha ya yote kumekuwa na language barrier, Mheshimiwa Spika, ambayo kwamba mtu akienda pale katika embassy na haelewi pengine lugha ya Kiarabu inakuwa ni matatizo kidogo, Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa hiyo katika uteuzi utakaokuja wa miaka inayokuja, Mheshimiwa Spika, tuweze kuangalia yale mazingira na mtu ambaye anapelekwa sehemu fulani ili aweze kufanya kazi akiwa na ule, yani akiwa amestawika vizuri, Mheshimiwa Spika. Na Mheshimiwa Spika, pia niweze kusema kama nimpongeze pia Mheshimiwa Martha alivyosema kuwa tunataka pia tupate kule labor attachis ama attachis ambao watakuwa wanasaidia watu wetu ambao wako sehemu za mbalimbali. Kwa mfano kama hawa wafanyakazi ambao wanafanya kazi nje, mtu kutoka pengine kule Jeddah ama atoke Ajman kuja paka Riyadh ni mbali kutafuta kusaidiwa, Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa hiyo tukiwa na hawa attachis watakuwa wanachukua yale matatizo ya Wakenya wakihakikisha kuwa wanayatatua ama wanaweza kufikisha katika embassy ambapo Mkenya pengine hawezi kufikia kwa wepesi, Mheshimiwa Spika. Lakini awali ya yote mimi niwapongeze na nizidi kuambia nyinyi ni sura ya taifa. Mkienda kule wekeni bendera ya Kenya mbele, wekeni sifa ya Kenya mbele, fanyeni kazi kwa bidii mpaka sifa ya Kenya katika mataifa mengine iwe juu, kama vile juzi na jana tumebeba bendera yetu juu kwa wale wanariadha. Mheshimiwa Spika, waonyeshe sura ya Kenya iwe na upendo katika mataifa mengine na walete mahusiano mazuri, na hata kama kuna matunda yale ambayo yanaonekana yako kule wawe wajanja kuyafuata na kuweza kuelezea serikali kuwa hapa kuna mwanya huu na kuna mwanya huu ambao unaweza ukasaidia taifa baina ya taifa. Kwa hayo mengi na machache, Mheshimiwa Spika, na wapongeza. Asante sana.
Yes, Russell.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the committee for this report. Posting of ambassadors and high commissioners is a very important work or task for the country. And those individuals who have been identified to represent us in those far foreign countries must walk the talk, must represent us effectively. Honorable Speaker, they are the ones who will pursue our foreign policy objective in those countries where they have been assigned. Today, what is really important around the world is what is called economic diplomacy, where every country is positioning itself to try and gain something from the other side. Those who have been appointed as head of missions, they are the flag bearers. They are the main representatives of the head of state and also the people of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, recently I was fortunate to visit the state of Botswana. In Botswana, cattle or livestock is a major part of the economy. The first is diamond, then the second is livestock. We were lucky that the ambassador was able to, the High Commissioner was able to effectively conduct us around that country. Many parts of that country are ASAL, arid and semi-arid lands. But when you see how they were able to make livestock a major stay of that economy, it indeed showed us that we can equally borrow from other countries. But had the ambassador not engaged, not did her due diligence, then we were not able to see many good things in that country. Honorable Speaker, the idea of having diplomats to serve as ambassadors in this list, as already told to us by the Honorable Vice Chairman, it is important that we must give diplomats chance to rise up the ladder. Because if we keep on bringing people from outside, I think to an extent it will undermine our diplomacy in a big way. There are people who have burned the midnight oil. They have gone to school. They have gained the necessary experience to be ambassadors and high commissioners. If they are sidestepped, then I think even the morale within that ministry, to a large extent, will be undermined, and people are not likely to put in their best. Honorable Speaker, the other issue which I want to talk about is the issue of relationship within our embassies. You will go to a mission, and then you will be told that there's a lot of infighting. And I think one of the tasks that an ambassador or high commissioner has to do is to be able to administer and manage that particular mission. And if they don't do that, then what suffers is those who are supposed to be represented by that posting. Finally, Honorable Speaker, more and more, our foreign missions are about representing the diaspora. Today, a major part of contribution to the national economy is the diaspora. Ambassadors and high commissioners must spend all the necessary time to bring the diaspora together, to make them feel that while they are outside there, the embassy is home away from home, so that they are able to build to the well-being and prosperity of this country. With those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I beg to support. Thank you.
Thank you, Russell. Honorable members, allow me to acknowledge in the Speaker's Gallery, Ngaru Girls School from Kirinyaga Central, Kirinyaga. On my behalf and on behalf of the House of Parliament, we welcome the students, their teachers, and those accompanying them to Parliament. Thank you. Yes, Amisi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support the report of the court. Spoken before. Honorable Speaker, this House, last Parliament, we passed a Foreign Service Bill 2023 that gave the President a leeway to include career diplomats in the appointment of ambassadors. And this latest appointment, Honorable Speaker, has exactly done that. We have and even those who come from other careers or politicians have also exhibited a high prowess on matters of people-to-people relation. Honorable Speaker, most of us here are actually diplomats. When most don't get to be re-elected, eventually they eye to be diplomats, ambassadors, and high commissioners. And basically because we carry people-to-people relationship. We are here because we are able to talk to people, we are able to relate with people, and this is one of the pillars of diplomacy. An ambassador is what we call in international relations a plenipotentiary of the nation. So he represents, he has the full powers of the nation to make agreements, conventions on behalf of the nation. Secondly, Speaker, foreign relations, interstate relations has changed. What the committee also was concerned is how the individuals who have been appointed understood the evolving environment of diplomacy. Honorable Speaker, since the Westphalian system of 1648, the diplomacy and interstate relations has, over the years, changed. How states used to relate with each other during the Cold War is different on how the states related with each other in post-Cold War and in communism and imperial West capitalism period. And now we've evolved over the years. Now we are talking about the trade liberalization. We are now into the AI, artificial intelligence. So basically this committee also wanted to know how these individuals understand the evolving environment in which our interstate relationship is undertaken, how they are techno-savvy because of modern modernization, globalization, and all those that comes with the technology. And these individuals were able to really portray that understanding of the new environment under which the states operate. And the Honorable Speaker, I'm one of the members who vetted these ambassadors. I've vetted ambassadors, now this is my 8th year, and I think this is one of the best lists that was brought to us. And all of them are incredibly qualified, with people with high acumen, professional acumen, and we are comfortable and confident that we represent the country in the international relations, bilateral, multilateral, and in other international arenas. Honorable Speaker, with these few remarks, I beg to support the report.
Yes, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Mine is, I want to also support the committee's report. And first and foremost, I want to congratulate all the nominated ambassadors who will represent this country in various countries. And according to the report, it has given a clean bill of health. And I acknowledge and support in totality. Mr. Speaker, I am one of the luckiest person in this house today who's one of his constituency was nominated to represent Jakarta, Indonesia. I want to congratulate him. And I know, beyond reasonable doubt, Abdirashid is qualified, competent, and will represent Kenya the way it is required. Mr. Speaker, ambassador is the reflection of Kenya. Ambassadors go there, advocate, represent liars, and liars on behalf of Kenya. There are a lot of opportunities outside Kenya. Kenya being an largely importers rather than exporters, need ambassadors who will go out of their way to look for opportunities that will make Kenyan product be seen in each and every table outside this country. Mr. Speaker, that is the only way the Kenyan government can give opportunities, employments in this country. If everybody, including those who are here, who will produce, manufacture, will have some people outside who are representing their interest, who will work for them, give them opportunities, and liaise with others, and help them to produce and export their product, a lot of Kenyans will get employment without going outside looking for employment. Mr. Speaker, with those few remarks, I support the report. Thank you.
Bowen.
It's here. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to support the committee report and also to support all the nominees, Honorable Speaker, those who have been nominated to represent our country in various countries. Mr. Speaker, our ambassadors are our representatives in the countries they have been appointed. They represent our president and all of us. And Mr. Speaker, yourself, you've been our ambassador before, and you know, Honorable Speaker, that this is a very crucial role because apart from representing the country, Honorable Speaker, we expect our ambassadors to enter into trade treaties in those countries, to look for opportunities for our products as a country, to market our country as a tourist destination, to carry our flag as a country, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I heard the Honorable Cynthia talking, and that is an issue which I wanted to take up. Why is it that in many cases we have had Kenyans being mistreated outside there? We have had Kenyans being mistreated in Saudi Arabia, in other countries, as if we don't have ambassadors or consulates in those countries. Why are they suffering? What is the role of those ambassadors in those countries? In fact, Honorable Speaker, one of the roles, apart from the representing us, one of the roles of our ambassadors is to protect our citizens in those countries. So we should not be hearing these issues that we have Kenyans, Mr. Speaker, who have gone to overseas countries because they have been given jobs there. But when they come back to the country, they are coming back in coffins. They have been killed. They have been mistreated. Where are our ambassadors? So, Mr. Speaker, I want to support all of them. And we ask them to make sure that all Kenyans, wherever they are, Honorable Speaker, because I know as Kenyans, we have many learned Kenyans, Mr. Speaker, and we have a lot of skills, and wherever we go, we do our jobs very well. So wherever they are, Mr. Speaker, it's only that sometimes we want also to ask our people, when they go there, those who go those countries, they need to adhere to the rules and the regulations, the laws for those countries, and also to register to our embassies, so that even as our ambassadors look after them, they have a record of what they are doing. So otherwise, Mr. Speaker, the second issue, Mr. Speaker, from the list, I believe all those are very qualified. And we want also to ask, Mr. Speaker, at an opportunity like this where there is a position of ambassadors, those who have worked, even in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, for so long, Mr. Speaker, they need to be, promoted, so that these positions should not just be reserved for, those who are politically correct, or those, maybe someone has lost an election and is given an ambassadorial position. Our civil servants in foreign affairs, Mr. Speaker, they must be motivated by promoting them to this position, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Kangogo, have you looked at the list, or do you know them?
I know some of them, Speaker. I don't know, but I'm just saying.
Anton Muchiri was my officer in foreign affairs. Lucy Kirudu was my officer in foreign affairs. Musyoka Masilo was my officer in foreign affairs. Edwin Afande was my officer in foreign affairs.
Yes, that's okay, Mr. Speaker. That's why I'm saying it's encouraging to see, and in future we should continue promoting our officers. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, with those many remarks, I want to support the report and pray that all our ambassadors, wherever they are, they represent our country well. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Emmanuel Wangwe.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on the onset, allow me to appreciate and support the report by the Committee on Defense and Foreign Relations. And Honorable Speaker, thank the President for having an eagle's eye when it came to the appointment of these ambassadors. Honorable Speaker, this is the only assembly in the country that brings together the entire Kenya into one. And Honorable Speaker, when you look at the report that has been brought before this House, with respect to the Kenya and Kenyans at large, Honorable Speaker, the appointment of the 9 ambassadors and high commissioners looks at Kenya as one. I want to thank the President. The Honorable Speaker, a name from Rift Valley is there, a name from Western is there, a name from Northeastern is there, a name from Eastern is there. And Honorable Speaker, when you look at the chances that have been provided, Kenya is represented. Given chance, Honorable Speaker, more slots coming out will see Kenya enlarged from that angle, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to be specific to appreciate one of the appointees, the High Commissioner, Honorable Florence Bore, whom, Honorable Speaker, I had the privilege of serving with her in this House in the 11th Parliament, and Honorable Speaker, also having chance to interact with her as the Minister for Labour. Honorable Bore, Honorable Speaker, has the ability to represent this country to the mission she has been assigned to in Windhoek, Namibia, and all I want to wish her, Honorable Speaker, is that what she has been able to do while in the country, let her represent us well. Honorable Speaker, I also want to extend my appreciation to the appointment of a career diplomat, one Edwin Safande, Honorable Speaker, a person whom I've known all through his life as a diplomat in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Speaker. Thanks to the President that he has now considered him at the helm of his appointment as an ambassador to Vienna, Austria. What does it take, Honorable Speaker, for one to be a career diplomat over a period and you cannot control the agency or the journey that you've been running around with? Honorable Speaker, having grown through the ranks and reaching the destination of the highest staff as an ambassador, I see us being well represented in Vienna, Austria, especially after having served in various missions at senior levels, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, what has also impressed me in this appointment is the issue of gender. When you look at the appointment, Honorable Speaker, there is both gender, male and female are represented, and Honorable Speaker, that the chances being few in the 9 having representation on both gender is a key thing within the Constitution of Kenya, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, finally, I would want to encourage that, Honorable Speaker, there is no way this good staff, these good ambassadors will go to work in missions and we don't support them in terms of their budgets. What happens, Honorable Speaker, when we go outside in our missions and we find, Honorable Speaker, that the ambassadors are not well funded, the missions are not well funded, Honorable Speaker. It is my request and my kind request, Honorable Speaker, that let the National Treasury, Honorable Speaker, fund these missions and set standards for them to deliver. Honorable Speaker, whereas we request that we fund the missions, I also want to call on the missions, the ambassadors and high commissioners, Honorable Speaker, that let them also earn some revenue for the country. Let them be proactive, Honorable Speaker, and in return, show the trade aspect. What are we gaining from the relationship, Honorable Speaker? Is it just to go and be an ambassador? The answer is no. They are going to represent this country, represent the population of Kenya, and therefore, Honorable Speaker, I feel let them come back with a result in terms of trade negotiations. Let them also line up and say this kind of production in Kenya can be marketed in their various missions, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, as I wish them well, let them also look back into the country and say the return on what their missions take shall have a positive achievement in that aspect, Honorable Speaker. With those few remarks, I want to congratulate them and say thank you, and I support the report.
Yes, Bayer.
All right, Speaker, I want to thank the people that have really contributed, and I think we are not of different opinion. We are saying the same things, Honorable Speaker. We are all congratulating and thanking the President, and I think it's time now to call the mover to reply. I thank you.
Do we call the mover to reply?
Yes.
Bashir.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I want to take this opportunity to thank all the members, both those who contributed and those who have not, because it looks like there is no contrary opinion to what the committee has presented, and that shows that the House has the trust and confidence with the report of the committee, and therefore say that all your sentiments, all your concerns we've noted, and ensuring that all is taken care of. I'm sure certain issues have been raised where career ambassadors, if you look at the report, 5 out of 9 are career ambassadors who have worked with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and this is a good record, and I think going forward we need to appreciate that it should continue that way, including the fact that they mix both career ambassadors and also ambassadors or nominees from outside. I also turn to reckon the fact that we need to fund the missions and ensure that Treasury releases the exchequer mostly in good time. Honorable Speaker, we have 74 missions that are dotted across the globe, and these also require oversight by this committee. So I'll also urge that through your office and the office of the clerk, that the Committee of Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations is adequately facilitated so that they can go out there to oversight and ensure that funds are allocated properly utilized. I want to take this opportunity to wish all the 9 nominees all the very best, and if this House approves, that they take up their jobs and serve Kenya and Kenyans diligently. I beg to move.
Thank you. Honorable members, I now put the question at order number 8, which is that taking into consideration the findings of the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations in its report on the approval hearings of 9 nominees for appointment as High Commissioner, Ambassador and Consuls General, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 23rd September 2025, and pursuant to the provisions of Article 132(2)(e) of the Constitution, Section 22 of the Foreign Service Act, Cap 185(e), and Sections 3 and 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, Cap 7F, this House approves the appointment of the following persons as 1. Ambassador, High Commissioner, Honorable Florence Chepngetich Bore, EGH, Windhoek, Namibia. Ambassadors and Consuls General, Ambassador Anton Mwaniki Mushiri, Ankara, Turkey. Ambassador Lucy Kiruthu, Bangkok, Thailand. Mr. Henry Wambuma, Bujumbura, Burundi. Mr. Abdirashid Salat Abdile, Jakarta, Indonesia. Ambassador Joseph Musyoka Masila, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Ambassador Edwin Afande, Vienna, Austria. And Consuls General Ms. Jane Chepkorir Toroitich, Dubai, United Arab Emirates. And Ms. Judy Kiaria Ngumiri, Goma, Democratic Republic of Congo. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Before the next order, honorable members, I acknowledge in the public gallery Kamuiru Boys School from Kirinyaga Central, Kirinyaga. On my behalf and on behalf of the House, I welcome the students, their teachers, and those accompanying them to the House of Parliament. Thank you. Next order.
Order number 9, special motion. Consideration of nominees for appointment as Registrar and Assistant Registrar of Political Parties.
Honorable Murugara.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that, taking into consideration the findings of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs in its report on the approval hearings of nominees for appointment as Registrar and Assistant Registrar of Political Parties, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 23rd September 2025, and pursuant to the provisions of Section 34A and paragraph 6 of the 6th schedule of the Political Parties Act, Cap 7D, and sections 3 and 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, Cap 7F, approves the appointment of the following persons to the office of Registrar of Political Parties. Number 1, Mr. John Cox Lorionokou, Registrar, and Ms. Agatha Wanjiko Wahome, Assistant Registrar. Honorable Speaker, I wish to confirm to the House that yesterday, on behalf of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, I tabled the report on the vetting of these two persons. I confirm that the vetting took place when the House was on recess, and I profoundly thank the members of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, including my Vice Chairman, the Honorable Ekomas Mwengi Mutuse, and the eminent members, including Honorable Gladys Boss. The Chief Whip is also a member, Silvana Sosoro, Tim Wanyonyi Wetangula, Honorable John Mushira Mwangi, Honorable Makali John Okwisia, Honorable Aden Daoud, Honorable Suleka Ulbale Arun, the Senior Honorable Farah Malim, Honorable TJ Kajwang, Honorable Tiende Amolo, Honorable Mushangi Karemba, Honorable Stephen Mogaka, and Honorable Siyad Amina Udigon. They took their time of the recess to come and vet these two officers on the 28th of August 2025. Honorable Speaker, as the report is elaborate and comprehensive, and having read this report, because I know each member has done so, I wish to summarize that the findings of the committee are that these two persons are actually suitable. May I point out that on behalf of the committee, the approval hearings were exhaustive. We were able to ascertain what was necessary, including the candidates' academic qualifications, proven knowledge and experience in the relevant field, finance, management, political science, law, governance, and public administration. When it came to the first nominee for the office of the Registrar of Political Parties, and this is a very, very important office, especially now, we are moving towards another general election. And this office is going to play a pivotal role in actually ensuring that political parties are in order, in place, well organized, so as to nominate candidates for the general election. So we were keen to know whether Mr. John Cox Lorionoko was actually qualified to hold this position, and we were left with no doubt whatsoever that he actually does. As regards his background, it's important for the House to note that Mr. John Cox, that's a very good English name, Lorionoko, is actually a Pokot from West Pokot, Kacheliba. This is a very humble person from a very humble background. And it demonstrates that we in Kenya have equal opportunities. You do not have to come from a very big community. You can come from the smallest of the communities, and you will have equal opportunity with the persons who come from big communities. So with a very humble background, having done his primary school in Kacheliba, all the way up to when he actually did his diploma, his Bachelor of Education in Arts, Maseno University, and is now an ongoing student for a master's degree in arts regarding governance and ethics. We are satisfied that that background actually suits him. From there, we were able to look at his work experience, and this is a person who has worked for long periods of time with election bodies. Started as a junior officer, county director, children in Pokot Educational Fund, that was in West Pokot County, all the way up to the time he left the county elections manager with the IBC in Elgeyo Marakwet. He has done all this absolutely to show that he is knowledgeable in election matters. As regards net worth, this is extremely important because we need to know, as you get into an office like this, how much are you worth? So that 2 years down the line, we hear you are actually swimming in riches. Then we are able to tell, unless you can sufficiently explain that you have not obtained your wealth the right way. A modest figure of 50 million, which he convinced us that is his net worth. And we told him these are actually the people who are required most because they are able to render services without having to look at the material gain in it. He confirmed that he's not now a member of any political party and that he is actually going to ensure that our political parties are run in the most fair and competent manner that is supposed to be done. So having considered all that, we were able to confirm, since he doesn't hold any dual citizenship, he doesn't have any debts, he had clearance certificates with the DCI, with ESCC, with Higher Education Loans Board, KRA, ODPP, ORP, and all other statutory bodies required to have confirmed his appointment. He actually had those clearances. Therefore, we were able to confirm that he is suitable. For the office of the Assistant Registrar, a lady by the name Agatha Wanjiku Wahome, who hails from Nyeri County, was proposed and nominated for that position. We were also able to vet this lady to confirm whether she was actually suitable to sit in as the Assistant Registrar, bearing in mind that she would also be assisting the Registrar in ensuring that our political parties work to our satisfaction. She had the necessary academic qualifications, all the way up to a master's degree in management and agribusiness from Strathmore University, and our work experience showed that for a long time she had worked as integrity assurance officer, data protection officer, manager risk and compliance in IEBC, which was very important because this gave her again the experience that is supposed to be carried by a person occupying such a position. Then thereafter, we looked at our integrity, and we had to seek confirmations from the various statutory bodies regarding our indebtedness, clearances, good conduct, and each of these. And we received this to confirm that the lady is actually suitable to serve as the Assistant Registrar of Political Parties. Having observed all this and bearing in mind that we were required to confirm to this House that these persons have the knowledge and are suitable to actually hold these offices, then we did not hesitate to recommend to this House that this House approves the appointment of Mr. John Cox Lorionoko as the Registrar of Political Parties, and also approves the appointment of Ms. Agatha Wanjiku Wahome as the Assistant Registrar of Political Parties. As I move, I wish to remind these officers what we told them at the vetting, that the country, the entire country is looking upon them to execute their duties with the diligence, with the honesty that is required of these public officers. We know very well we have various types of parties in this country, including the big parties, which are always proud of themselves, and especially when they get the lion's share of the political party's fund. And that these are the people who will be administering that fund, that they must also remember the criteria goes down to the small parties, which parties, whether briefcase or not briefcase, are also entitled to whatever is rightfully theirs under the political party's fund. And all others, including registrations, which have to be done, nominations, which have to be done, and everything that appertains to the upcoming general election of 2027. With those remarks, I beg to move and request my able Vice Chairperson, the Honorable Ekomas Mwengi Mutuse, to second.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In seconding the motion, allow me first to appreciate our chair for the leadership that he provided us during the time of recess as a committee while vetting the nominees that are the subject of this afternoon hearing before this Parliament. I also want to appreciate the members of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, who include Madam Deputy Speaker, for finding time during recess to perform this very important national duty. Madam Speaker, I do not wish to repeat what the chair has said because both the report and the oral submissions by the chair were quite elaborate. However, allow me to point out that what we are doing today is a dictate of the Constitution. If you look at Article 4 of our Constitution, specifically sub-Article 2, it declares that Kenya is a multi-party democracy and that our democracy is going to be exercised in the terms provided for under the national values and principles of government provided for under Article 10. And it is partly pursuant to this that Parliament came up and enacted the Political Parties Act and provided for the two offices that are subject to this afternoon's debate, the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties and the Office of the Assistant Registrar of Political Parties, specifically with the duty, one, to register political parties, two, generally, to regulate the affairs of political parties, and three, to manage the political parties fund that is a fund provided for under the law in order to assist political parties to deepen democracy both within and without, within the parties and also in the country. And therefore, as we consider this, I was saying this so that members would realize that the people we are debating today are going to occupy very, very important offices that are core in terms of our democracy is going to run. Madam Speaker, it has been elaborated that our duty was to look at their educational qualifications, and indeed in seconding we confirm that all of them are qualified. The Political Parties Act also imposes certain years of experience that they need to have. We confirm that they had that. In terms of integrity, we rely on reports from vetting bodies, and all the vetting bodies, none of them returned a negative verdict in terms of their integrity. And there were no adverse memoranda that were presented before the committee to impugn the integrity of any of the two nominees. And therefore, I stand to urge the House to approve the report of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee as presented. You may also be aware, Madam Speaker, and the House and the country, that the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties fell vacant recently because the order of that office, the Honorable Anne Nderitu, who has been our Registrar of Political Parties for quite some time now, was nominated, vetted, approved, and appointed as a commissioner of the IEBC. And therefore, there is urgency in filling this office, and as the chair has alluded to, for purposes of preparedness for the next general elections. And with those few remarks, I second the oral submissions of the chair, I second the written report, and urge the House to approve the two nominees to their respective positions. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable members, I now propose the question that taking into consideration the findings of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs in its report of the approval hearings of the nominees for appointment as Registrar and Assistant Registrar of Political Parties laid on the table of this House on Tuesday, 23rd September 2025, and pursuant to the provisions of sections 34A and paragraph 6 of the 6th schedule of the Political Parties Act, Cap 7D, and sections 3 and 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, Cap 7F, approves the appointment of the following persons to the office of the Registrar of Political Parties. Mr. John Cox Lorionokau, Registrar, and 2, Ms. Agatha Wanjiku Wahome as Assistant Registrar. Let me put the question. Honorable members, I now put the question that taking into consideration the findings of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs in its report of the approval hearings of the nominees for appointment as Registrar and Assistant Registrar of Political Parties laid on the table of this House on Tuesday, 23rd September 2025, and pursuant to the provisions of Section 34A, Paragraph 6 of the 6th Schedule of the Political Parties Act, Cap 7D, and Sections 3 and 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, Cap 7F, approves the appointment of the following persons to the office of the Registrar of Political Parties. Mr. John Cox Lorionoko, Registrar. 2, Ms. Agatha Wanjiku Wahome as Assistant Registrar. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 10, special motion, consideration of nominee for appointment as chairperson of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, KNCHR.
Justice and Legal Affairs Chairperson.
Yes. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I beg to move that, taking into consideration the findings of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs in its report on the approval hearing of a nominee for appointment as chairperson of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 23rd September 2025, and pursuant to the provisions of Article 252 of the Constitution, Section 11 of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, Chapter 7 RL, and Sections 3 and 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, Chapter 7F, approves the appointment of Ms. Clarice Agwol Oganga as the chairperson of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. Honorable Speaker, on the same day, the 28th of August 2025, the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee was able to consider the suitability of the chairperson nominated for the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, Ms. Clarice Agwol Oganga. And again, I thank members of that committee, starting with the Speaker herself, who sits as a member of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, the Vice Chairperson who is here, Ekomas Mwengi Mutuse, MP Kibwezi West constituency. We must also appreciate Mr. Onyego Silvana Sosoro, a Member of Parliament for South Mugirango constituency. Mr. Wanyonyi Timothy Wetangula, Member of Parliament for Westlands. Honorable John Michael Mushira Mwangi, Member of Parliament for Ojoro Rock. Honorable John Makali Okwisia, MP Kadui. Honorable Aden Dawood Mohammed, Wajir East. Honorable CPS Suleka Halbal Haruni, nominated member. Senior member, Farah Malim, Dadaab constituency. A senior advocate, Francis Kajwang Tom Joseph. He represents Ruaraka constituency. The Honorable Dr. Otiende Amolo, senior counsel, who represents Rarienda. Honorable Muchangi Karemba, who is the member for Runyenjes constituency. Honorable Mogaka Stephen, member for West Mugirango constituency, and Honorable Siyand Amina Udgon, representing Garissa County. These are the members who sat on that day and went through the vetting process of the proposed chairperson of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. As we speak today, it is very, very important for the country to note that there are issues that are being raised regarding human rights. And therefore, it was in the interest of the committee and this House and the country that the vetting is concluded as soon as it was practicably possible, so that we have a chairperson in place to deal with many of the matters, including the proposed compensation to the victims of the demonstrations that took place recently. Therefore, before the committee was actually the nominee, and we were able, in a nutshell, to establish the following. First and foremost, the report has been tabled, and these members have read it. It's comprehensive. It covers all the spheres that we are required to tackle when we are actually doing the approval hearing. On citizenship, we confirmed that Ms. Oganga is actually a Kenya citizen and does not hold any dual citizenship. She was born in Nairobi, although eventually she confirmed she was from Mutembei. Then she holds various certificates, degrees, including a Bachelor of Laws degree and a Master of Laws degree from the University of Nairobi. Therefore, academically, she was actually qualified, and we did not have any issue with the certificates that were produced before us. As regards experience, which is the most important when it comes to work, like this particular nominee is being appointed to, we confirmed that she has done various work, including human rights works, with the following entities. One is FIDA Kenya. This is the Federation, International Federation of, the name is not actually English. She has worked here to represent people who are downtrodden, and especially ladies. So those are human rights. She has also worked as Deputy Executive Director and Head of Programs with the Federation of Kenya Women Lawyers. This is the FIDA. That's the name I was looking for, before proceeding to work for Human Rights Office with the United Nations High Commission for Refugees. She was actually a human rights officer. After that, she worked for, again, as a human rights specialist, deputy head of office, again, in the United Nations Office of the High Commission for Human Rights here in Nairobi. So, with such a background, this is a person who, in our view, can actually run this office to the satisfaction of Kenyans. Then from there, we were able to look at our writings, which, in my view, are relevant, and then we went on to look at all the other aspects, including what we got from the entities under Chapter 6 of the Constitution regarding ethics and integrity. And all of them returned papers to the effect that she had no questions with the DCI, with ELB, with ORPP, with DPP, with ESCC, and all those integrity institutions. When we asked her about our relationship, and especially with a commission that has just been set up, a task force or whatever, to look into compensation of victims of demonstrations, which, in our view, is a mandate under the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. She was able to demonstrate that this entity is going to work closely with our office so that there is no antagonism between the two, but there is going to be unity between the two offices so that they are synchronized. They are able to give Kenyans the best results regarding that proposed compensation. So having considered all these matters and having listened to the candidate, we were convinced that she is suitable for the work, and therefore today we call upon this House to approve the appointment of Ms. Clarice Agwo Oganga to be the to the office of the chairperson of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. To those remarks, I now request again my vice chairperson of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, Honorable Ikomas Mwengi Mutuse, to actually second the approval. Thank you very much.
You may proceed to second briefly.
Indeed, Madam Speaker, I will be very brief. I stand to second the motion as moved by the chair that Ms. Clarice Agwo be approved by this House to be the new chairperson of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. I second, Madam Speaker.
Honorable members, I now propose the question that, taking into consideration the findings of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs in its report on the approval hearing of the nominee for appointment as chairperson of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, laid at the table of this House on Tuesday, 23rd September 2025, and pursuant to the provisions of Article 252 of the Constitution, Section 11 of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights Act, Cap 7I, and Sections 3 and 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, Cap 7F, approves the appointment of Ms. Clarice Agwo Oganga as the chairperson of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. Okay, Honorable Kaluma.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, let me congratulate the Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs for a good report which we have read through. And Honorable Speaker, today the whole nation knows that the Vice Chair of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, Honorable Mwengi Mutuse, does not only bring impeachment motions which succeed, but also stands before the floor to approve appointment into office and into various state offices. Of course, I join the committee in recommending the approval by this assembly of the nominees. Honorable Speaker, the warning is clear. They go in and play around. Mwengi Mutuse has the power to appoint and to bring motions to remove to this House. And when he does, we will always oblige. Honorable Speaker, Kenya National Commission on Human Rights is a very important commission because this is one country which has one of the richest human rights provisions under Chapter 4 of our Constitution. In fact, as a comparative constitutional law practitioner, whether you go to the US, whether you go across Africa, whether you go to Europe, they cite the Bill of Rights, which is embodied in Chapter 4 of our Constitution as a true human right, not and a guiding, documentation of what should human rights and fundamental freedoms for all human persons, not just for citizens, be. Honorable Speaker, as I urge this House to approve these nominees, and I hope this House will resolve that we approve them so that they go into the office. Let me say that there is one challenge we are facing in the country today, and that is how to balance matters stability of the state and the enjoyment of human rights and fundamental freedoms. We had a very untidy situation in 2024, in the month of June. We had a very untidy situation the other time. And Honorable Speaker, you hear people just talking human rights, human rights, human rights, but they are forgetting about the stability of the state. Let me caution, Honorable Speaker, that as we move through this approval hearing, we want these commissioners, if the House so resolves and they are later appointed, to have that careful balance. we cannot have a situation in which we lose the state. Honorable Speaker, I wanted to report here that in the month of June, in the year 2023, we went with Honorable Martin Owino to the EU Parliament in Brussels. And Honorable Martin will confirm to you there was a time I was to address stability and how Kenya can assist in keeping peace and security in the Horn of Africa. The delegation from Sudan stopped me midway on a point of order, saying I cannot talk about Sudan. They didn't know that a short while after that, Sudan was going to be in the situation where it is. There is a day, Honorable Speaker, when we had the Gen Z issues, when I posted on my X account that better a bad government than no government. Honorable Martin Owino had been called by those people who shouted us down, who are warning us not to allow Kenya slide into a stateless situation. And so, Honorable Speaker, sometimes we make such sacrifices at the political level, which people take for granted, but they are very critical, so that they save the state, so that we can continue to enjoy human rights. I've heard very many young people saying, Baba betrayed us. Baba betrayed us. Honorable Speaker, if you go to June 24th, that thing started as reject finance bill. Once we amended all the provisions, it became Ruto must go. Once we were done with Ruto must go, it moved into Kufa Driver, Kufa Makanga, which was both the president and the deputy must go. We have to say, when we have young people in this House, Honorable Speaker, what does the Constitution at Article 146, sub-Article 2, say where both the president and the deputy president are not there? The Speaker of the National Assembly, you, Honorable Speaker, takes over for 60 days, within which the country has to go for elections. And you remember, Honorable Speaker, we did not have IEBC. It meant at the lapse of 60 days, we were going to be in a situation, Honorable Speaker, where there is no leader for this country, where only anarchy is reigning, where the strongest, whether it is civilian coup, military coup, would be reigning. And the first thing we were going to lose, Honorable Speaker, is this beautiful constitution with its Bill of Rights. And so I want to caution that there are some sacrifices we make as political leadership. And I want to thank my party leader, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, for always being patriotic. Let us send these commissioners into the commission. But Honorable Speaker, let us remind them not to sing about human rights to the extent that we may become riotous, we may become chaotic, and we end up with a situation in which the state is not there. If we didn't intervene under the leadership of Baba and our president, Honorable Speaker, we would be having no country now. Because there are people who take things lightly. They want to go with what is popular. Sometimes you need leadership decisions. And in most cases, they are very difficult. I wanted to urge that we resolve, Honorable Speaker, as a House, to approve these nominees. But as they go into office, let us protect human rights and let us not have a situation, Honorable Speaker. See, Honorable Speaker, what the President has proposed. See how beautiful it is, Honorable Speaker. And allow me to say this as the last thing. The President is saying that in the enjoyment of human rights and civil liberties, we've lost so many Kenyans. Honorable Speaker, the President has constituted a team. You get some idle Kenyans are before a court of law, stopping that team from working. A police officer fired a warning shot somewhere, and you saw a very young, beautiful Kenyan girl being hit by a bullet while in her parents' sitting room. If you leave the parents of that girl to go to court for reparation, it will not succeed. Because, Honorable Speaker, as a lawyer, you know that parent will have to prove negligence on part of the police. And the police will simply say, I was shooting a warning shot, and it ends there. The case will not go anywhere. You'll have to prove this bullet came from the police. You'll have to prove there was negligence. There are cases the President is saying we need to heal as a nation. We want to go as back as possible. But you know, as a lawyer, the Limitation of Actions Act, the cases of 2017 cannot be accepted before any court of law. So we must know that when a leader, the head of state, and I wanted to ask those Kenyans who are politicking, to draw a line between President Ruto, the person, President Ruto, the head of state and symbol of national unity, President Ruto, the commander-in-chief of the defense forces, and the National Police Service is not part of the defense forces. So when, as the head of state is making proposals so that we can heal as a nation and move forward, we don't want judicial overreach, where judiciary takes the place of the executive, controlling how the head of state in healing the nation to be united and to move together should do their things. I would be urging that even those cases in court, we take them away. We have a system that can allow for compensation of all Kenyans. And I know human life cannot be compensated, but we want to move together within the realm and context of human rights. I wish these commissioners, well as they go into work, but we need to keep that delicate balance so that we respect the institutions and offices of the presidency, of the leaders who make sacrifices, and so that we always have Kenya to continue to enjoy our human rights and fundamental freedoms. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well spoken indeed. The chair is not supposed to celebrate, but what a statesman you are today. Great. You need a nation before you can, what do you call, enjoy rights. The destruction of a state, anarchy, chaos, cannot become a substitute to the state and the nation. I want to ask the Honorable, first of all, before I call on somebody else on the same, I will ask the MP for Kirinyaga Central, my old colleague in the 7th Parliament. Was it the 10th Parliament or the 7th Parliament? Yeah? Yes, Honorable Gitari, to proceed and give a word of encouragement to the students from your constituency.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for remembering we were with you that long time ago. I want to appreciate and welcome the students of Kamwiro Secondary School. Personally, I'm a alumni of Kamwiro Secondary School, and they came here today to see what we do here because they are future leaders. On the other side, I want to appreciate Ngaro girls. Those beautiful girls are from Kirinyaga, and they are doing very well. I want you to welcome you to Parliament and tell them, myself, I came to Parliament the first time when I was elected. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Gichimu, is he in the House, MP for Gichogo? He's not in the House. He just put in the card and disappeared. The Honorable Martin Olo. Martin Owino. Are you in the House? Martin Owino. Yes. Proceed. Not for this one. Not on this one. The Honorable... The Honorable... Yes, indeed, I would give an opportunity to Karoli Omondi first. Do you wish to contribute on this, or it's something else that you plugged your card on?
Honorable Speaker, I'm waiting for the next motion, special motion.
Okay, fair enough. The Honorable Deputy Leader of Majority in the House.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And I join my friend, the member for Kirinyaga Central, to welcome the very well-dressed and smart students up in the Speaker's Gallery. You're welcome to the National Assembly. To listen and celebrate the moment that you're here. It never happens to everybody that they come to this. So I feel very special, and thank your teachers for making sure you are here. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to contribute to this motion and support the appointment of the chairperson of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, which is actually the motion on the floor, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, human rights. Human rights. And I want to take the cue from my educated friend. I don't want to make the educated friend, the Honorable Kaluma. Yes, so I have dissociated myself from that term. My educated friend, Honorable Kaluma. I want to say this. All these things that we have seen and experienced, Honorable Speaker, they rise and fall on issues of human rights. And human rights is what defines a democracy. Kenya as a democracy must continue to remain strong as one that observes human rights, because human rights are people's rights, and people's rights are human rights. So when this lady, Ms. Clarice Awor Oganga, takes over the mantle of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, we expect her to do a good job. During the time when we had the Gen Z riots, there was a lot of conflicting information coming from the Kenya National Commission for Human Rights. They said 60 had been killed. They said 70 had been killed. They are a government body. What was it difficult for them to be able to coordinate with other government agencies so that they be able to give the right information? Honorable Speaker, there are many officers in this country who, when they are given guns and who they're given an opportunity to serve the country, they want to do it without consideration of law, without consideration of the human rights, without consideration of the Constitution. We saw that young man, that young police officer on the streets here in Nairobi, who just stood there, took a gun, shot someone, and this person died, and he walked away. And you wonder, really, that the whole problem comes and say, the president has killed people. The government has killed people. And yet there's this one particular guy who would have upheld the Constitution and say, whatever mistake you have made, I have a duty to arrest you, apprehend you, and take you to a court of law. That is how we respect human rights. The rights of Kenyans are human rights. And whoever is given an opportunity to work in the military, in the forces, in the defense forces, whatever it is, their first duty is to carry the banner of human rights so that they are respected. We do not need human rights activities to remind us about human rights. We should be conscious of human rights as a people, and people who have been given power to superintend over duties for Kenyans, Honorable Speaker. And that is what defines a great democracy. Honorable Speaker, we saw the police officer in the United States, the one who put his knee on the neck of someone. You remember that case? Floyd, it's called Floyd something.
Patterson.
Yes, and that guy died. You know, that black man died. One African man that was killed by a police. It became a whole mess, Honorable Speaker, that cost the President of the United States then, Donald Trump, his seat, just because of that one mistake by one police officer. Honorable Speaker, apart from this Kenya National Human Rights Commission making noise and talking, I want them to be proactive, Honorable Speaker, to go out there, have engagement with police officers, have engagement with officers that are uniformed, and teach them and induct them on the issues of human rights so that we don't get to the level that we got, Honorable Speaker, where a lot of lives are lost because someone thinks the only way to defend the government is by shooting someone. Honorable Speaker, that is not how you defend. That is not how you police. That is not how you superintend over the Constitution and the mandate that you... It is not. It is about upholding even the rights of the thief, Honorable Speaker, because he has rights. The rights of the criminal, he has rights. And those are the things that we want the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights to go out there and do. Educate them. Make sure they follow the law. Let Kenyans know what is happening. But more importantly, Honorable Speaker, they need to take the function of education very, very, very seriously, Honorable Speaker. We see a lot of human rights abuses. A lot. By people in power. You see a chief going out there, instead of arresting the Chang'aa brewer, he goes and breaks all the barons, he breaks all the plates, he breaks everything in the home, just because this person is a criminal who is selling Chang'aa, Honorable Speaker. Before a judge has said this guy is a criminal, who are you to say that you're a criminal? This guy is a criminal, and you start beating someone up, Honorable Speaker. We need to observe human rights. And I like what the Honorable Educated Kaluma has said, Honorable Speaker. We are a country that must guard this freedom. We must guard our democracy. We must guard this state, this nation called Kenya, jealously, so that we continue to uphold the unity of our country and our state remains Kenya without being divided by anything. What the Constitution says, Kenya is an indivisible. Is that what it says? Indivisible nation. We can't divide it on tribe. What the moment you start discriminating me on the basis of tribe, Honorable Speaker, you are infringing on my human rights. You are infringing on my human rights. The moment we start saying these people, this tribe is more important than the other, we cannot have a state. This country is proud of its diversity, but is also one indivisible nation. One indivisible nation. And that's why someone from another minority, whether from a big tribe, whether... I like the appointments that the president has made. I like them. Who he currently is, we have approved, Honorable Speaker, here, the chairman of, not the chairman, the registrar of political parties. One, John Cox Lorionoko. Minority. But West Pokot, he's been given an opportunity to serve this country, Honorable Speaker. Before that would not have happened. Who is the chairman of IBC, Honorable Speaker? A minority again. Everybody must get an equal opportunity to serve this country, whether you come from a big tribe, a small tribe, or no tribe. Honorable Speaker, you must be given an opportunity because you have the wherewithal, Honorable Speaker, to run an organization. And these are the things that make us Kenya. These are the things that make us Kenya. I want someone from the Shuba. Yes. Very brilliant Karole Omondi, very brilliant lawyer. But if people want to judge you by the tribe, you will be appointed nowhere. Because someone is looking at you from the tribe that you come from, Honorable Speaker. But when we start seeing every Kenyan as a Kenyan, in spite of the tribe that he comes from, Honorable Speaker, that is upholding human rights. You see, I was in Vienna with the lady from Turkana, the women rep. When the appointment of the IBC commissioner was made, I was with her in Vienna, Honorable Speaker, and we, the Honorable Women Rep, and we were coming from Hungary, coming into Austria. And this lady was so excited. She was not excited because the person had been appointed was from her place. She was excited because Kenya had for the first time recognized small tribes. And that is where we need to go, Honorable Speaker. We must stop this thing that only one tribe can serve in the cabinet. That one tribe has 10 slots in the cabinet. And the others are left. Honorable Speaker, I look forward to 2027, where every tribe, every small, wherever big or small, will be included in the positions that matter in this country. That's when, Honorable Speaker, we'll be able to build a country, a nation, a state that is together, woven together for the future and prosperity of this country. Honorable Speaker, I support. And if you allow me, Honorable Speaker, I would like to request you, because everybody is of similar mind, to request the mover to reply. I thank you.
As a matter of fact, I don't see. I only see Honorable Mboko. Honorable Mboko, you removed your name again. Do you still wish to contribute on this? There being no more person, I don't see any interest from anywhere. Then I would call upon do you want to contribute on the motion, or I call upon the mover to reply? Okay, proceed, Honorable Mboko.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The Human Rights Commission, a very important commission for this country, given that the constitution we are now having, the 2010 constitution promulgated by Mwai Kibaki, was largely founded on two bases. One, governance, really the system of governance, but secondly, the human rights. And human rights took a very center stage on what the Kenyans wanted. And therefore, this is a very important commission, which we expect that as it takes root and the members take oath of office and go to office, will be able to actually guard their center very, very well. The human rights in this country have been in the center stage of all Kenyans. And everybody talks about my right, my right. And the rights are so broad. Away from the political rights, we have the economic rights, we have the consumer rights, and it's a very broad face. But I noticed that each time we have officers taken to this particular office and center, they only concentrate on one item, which is the political rights and other things around that place. And they forget all the other rights that really they also need to champion and do and talk about. But it's very important that as they do their work, they also consider the fact that all the rights, as we do teach in schools, I'm a teacher, have their limitations. And it's very important that as they propagate those rights, they also talk about the limitations. So that's very easy for the citizenry to be enlightened that there are limits of all the rights that we have. Because sometimes I notice that it's propagated and they make it forcefully move, and without any limitations, then they start infringing also on the rights of other people. So I want to hope that the members and the people who have been proposed to be in this office will do their work diligently and actually rise above the old version of doing it, which was just mainly dealing with the agitation only and not also educating the masses on the limitation of the rights, on other avenues of the rights, and other things that to be done by the citizens of the country so as to be able to move forward. For instance, look at when we sometimes lose matters concerning with taxation. That's a responsibility, for instance, of a citizen. But you'll find they'll never speak about that. Because after all, governments are run by those taxes that people do pay. And therefore, I want to wish them the very best and hope that they'll be doing their work diligently. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
I will now call upon the mover to reply because there's nobody else who has an interest.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. As I reply, may I thank the contributors. I think we are in agreement that this is a very important appointment that we have to execute as required by law. And the sentiments expressed as regards our country, this is vitally important that at all times we must ensure that we keep our country united, and political parties must also endeavor to ensure that they do not divide us along community lines, ethnic lines, where parties have only memberships in certain regions, and as a result of which they say, we will use this as bargaining power. Let's form parties that are cross-cutting across the country so that at all points, Kenyans remain one people, under one nation, under one flag, and under one presidency. That is exactly what is being advocated today, and anybody going contrary to that then is not in tandem with what the views of the other Kenyans are. So the registrar of political parties and, the chairperson of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, you're going to be approved by this House. Do your work seamlessly, courageously, make sure that Kenyans whose rights are paramount are not trampled upon. Those remarks, I beg to reply.
Honorable members, under the circumstances, I'll now put the question that taken into consideration the findings of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs in its report on the approval hearing of a nominee for appointment as chairperson of the Kenya National Human Rights Commission, Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, the 23rd September 2025, and pursuant to the provisions of Article 250, Sub-Article 2 of the Constitution, Section 11 of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights Act, Cap 71, and Section 3 and 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval